Hello and welcome everyone. This is Blackadder at Blackadder's Place. Welcome to today's stream. We are going to be having some more qualification for the Voobly Champions League 3 hosted by Boit and the community, and we're gonna be starting on Mega Random as the preset map for the match between Marcos from Pandora Box and maci350, who is a player we might be knowing fairly well from certain custom scenarios events from the WebP free-for-all party that we have been streaming in the past 2 months. And hey Nimorom, and who else has potential already stopped by. Of course, as usual, we are gonna be on 2-minute delay since you're having some competitive games, and if you're interested in some other matches from the tournament, then currently there should be still Lordy versus Bystander, streamed by Mr_Poundtown, who has also been doing some recorded games before that. Not sure if he's gonna be doing something after. No, but that's only the 2 starting matches for today. There are still 2, maybe 3, possibly even 4 actually to be coming up, so we'll see how the evening develops and where you're gonna be able to enjoy some further games of some quality Age of Mythology. So Marcos, as you can see, is gonna be starting with Loki. He's gonna be somewhat of a favorite in this match, of course, but we'll see with maci. Well, if maci with his Oranos is gonna be able to, well, make something happen here, as it so far seems like that the map is not gonna be entirely swimming in food. So that could be a bit more of an advantage for the Oranos. It's not gonna be completely low food, but yeah, well, kinda it will be. I was going to say that it's not gonna be low food, but actually in reality it kind of is. Gonna be apparently having some starting only one Oroch or Water Buffalo. It's gonna be rather looking at the tile set. Few hippos. Potentially there's gonna be something here, as apparently, oh well, it's kind of a bigger group of hippos is gonna be available here. But well, in the end, probably isn't going to be entirely too major of a hand, but it's probably not gonna be entirely too terrible. Norse might be having still enough to be having some decent beginning to the game for himself. Okay, that's gonna be, oh well. Yeah, luckily he's a Norse, so he can be the bad not traveling for that, so it's gonna be a bit lucky right now, coincidence. Gonna have to be a bit careful. Having only 4 villages, that is something that can be resulting into that viddy. So looking forward to he's gonna be trying to right now take the damage by the Ox card. But you can see right now he was actually the Oroch or Oroch Water Buffalo at the very edge of the territory, therefore that's why he went immediately back, which is gonna be saving some hit points here. It's kinda nice for the Veligeros of the Norse player. No, and further, you can see right now actually a bit more berries on the game are gonna be apparently available. No, and just gonna be depending, of course, on the quickness and speed of the advance at this point for maci. How much of an opportunity there is going to be for Marcos to hunt outside of his base. At least he's gonna be having quite a safe gold, so that's gonna be pretty much impossible to raid in any kind of reasonable way currently. That's quite a bit sure. As you can see right now, all the way to the south, we are gonna be having already temple in the base, so looking like an advance about probably 440. If we can be getting the resources, possibly. Seems like it on the other side. Maybe we could be heading for the classic 430 here. 340, yeah, it's gonna be classic 430. It looks like with just a few seconds extra in here. Still a few berries, you can say now good hunt, but oh, that's a bit unlucky. Yeah, he's gonna be slowed down by the fact that he just now had to be actually killing one of the hippos. So therefore, he was having an outing in there for a moment. But well, nonetheless, 5 seconds maybe extra. And for the other side, it's going to be not entirely that much of like a huge advantage, of course, in any kind of way. As by the way, the gold mine is gonna be also quite a bit on the safer side here for Pandora Box Marcos, and quite an excellent woodline will be helping out. You can see he was checking it out in case there was a passage and he would have to be volant as well. So this is gonna be quite a bit safe. Extra food if need be. Plenty of piggies here. Seems to be having a pretty good starting position, frankly, all things considered. Not entirely right about now, I'm too unhappy about what we see in his base, at least for the time being. Seems to me, no, and we are going to be therefore having at this point the opportunity for like looking around in case there's gonna be potentially some further wall in here. Possibly could be. I mean, like this is very reminiscent of something like Watering Hole with the fact that we don't have as much food here, but nonetheless, in general, it's not entirely too dissimilar. You can see quite a good gold mine, and seems like this is gonna be all blocked off. Yeah, there's the water here. So, yes, that seems to be all locked off, the left part. Whereas for the opponent, it's gonna be having the high food on the left side next to the TC. Gold mine also one to the right. And that's maybe a bit of an interesting part here, because it seems like it's gonna be somewhat of a lower gold variant of the map. Not like completely low, but not the highest. Not the highest, and plenty of the gold is gonna be in the middle. So it's gonna be somewhat gold rushy slightly, we could be probably saying. You've already seen that map during the week, not entirely certain which match it was that we have actually seen the map in, and I think it might have been the last one. Yeah, it was probably the last one on Friday between Pelososo and Garmajuda. Thinking it was that, as it was the last game, and yeah, well, we played it as well as both relics. Gonna be right now actually picked up by the Heresinos, Fetters of Fenrir. Frankly, for the Norse that can be traveling with the Ox card, it's gonna be quite a bit helpful. Otherwise, some better throwing Axemen could be also coming quite a bit handy against the inevitable Murmilos that are gonna be on the way. And coming up with no extra researches, of course, for the time being. It's quite a bit expected, and that's a very forward, currently healing spring right now from Marcos. Gonna be very much interested, it looks like, in... Very much interested in like covering the middle of the map. Like, he doesn't entirely have that much of a reason to be like wanting to hold the TC this early and this soon. I don't think he's having too much of a need even for that gold mine in there. But well, in the end, just kind of like showing us with what kind of level of confidence I guess he's gonna be going into the match. Seems like it's gonna be quite a bit high, but yeah, well, as he mentioned, he should be some of the favorite for the advance. But well, Maci has had some interesting kind of like high level experience and practice in the custom scenarios territory, as he mentioned, and he has been playing fairly decently in there. So looking forward how in the classic Supremacy he is going to be faring in this tournament in Champions League on Voobly Edition 3. Okay, so 65-68, you can see plenty of population limit for Marcos free for possibly the myth spawns, but he obviously doesn't want to be taking such a fight just yet. It's a bit too soon for that. And of course the higher counts here caused again by the difference in the population limit. He needs to be a bit careful in these situations, as it looks like he would be very much liking to raid, but there is not any kind of good way to actually pass through. Might be some kind of possible issue here in case he hasn't walled properly Maci, but we're gonna be somewhat assuming that he did, so yeah. But again, not much of a consequence to this active healing, so interesting to be having some red color in there for a moment, but it obviously wouldn't be doing all that much. So blocking the path in is working somewhat decently. It's probably gonna be a passage on the left side still, maybe, but nonetheless, quite nice work, I'm thinking right now, by Marcos. Not really badly played at all. He's having already plenty of gold currently, which is something that actually happens fairly often to Lokis. And that's something that, if they're gonna be advancing still somewhat reasonably into Heroic Age for the piggies, then it usually is something that can be spent fairly quickly. So it's kind of nice, but on the other hand, the VS is gonna be theoretically slightly slowing them down during their like attempt to advance forward in the first place. So yeah, it can be maybe done a bit better, but nonetheless, on the other hand, you always really want to be having the high amount of gold once you advance into the third age. On the other hand, you can still gather normal resources a bit earlier, as in resources that you need, and then you can be just kind of migrating the villages later. So it doesn't necessarily mean that you have to be floating and that it's gonna be some kind of like supremely good play. Not really, just a bit more of a comfortable play, we probably could be saying that it's going to be. No, calm. That's gonna be a bit obnoxious, because he's gonna kill the Ox card here, even if the villagers would be trying to help and defend it here and there. New troll. That probably was a spawn though, as you can see. Now it's gonna be right now just a house, trying to keep a better eye and watchful one on the town center just in case, but frankly, there's like no way that Maci would be having a chance, or even kind of like a want, quite nice pathfinding, to actually take the TC so far away from his base. We are like always choosing this one if we actually wanted to be get in that somehow, but it was interesting blockage of the path through the gate. Really nice to be seeing Marcos so many attempts at that, because it kind of like barely cost him anything. Just a bit of effort, maybe he's gonna be doing it well. So yeah, not much of a reason why not to attempt anything and something like that. Looking at the hit points, for example, for the Norse, he's not entirely needing too much to stop here and heal. And then a kind of great need for that. You can see maci is gonna be already heroic in with also full pop limit, so nice to be seen. Practically both playing it fairly kind of like safely. Just it seems like that Marcos currently might be having a bit of a problem, and that problem also partly was that he was on the lower hand to the bottom, thinking it was smaller than the one to the top, and therefore he had to be making quite a bit of a kind of switch, which is gonna be of course disrupting the resource gathering and giving him some idle time, maybe in the extent of like a half a minute, maybe even more, with Teja coming forward. Yes, making a bit more sense than Hyperion, of course, as the birds are gonna be a bit harder to deal with for Marcos, considering he hasn't switched into the throwing axeman just yet. No, and now we are literally waiting for Marcos to be also clicking through, which is at this point going to be already a bit later than usual. Usual advance time is about like 11:30 for the semi-fast heroic for the Norse, so maci probably will be a bit happy already about that little deal. He's getting from the game. You can see it now. Hendux on the other side. Economically, it's gonna be Baron. At least the pickaxe is gonna be right now research for both of the players, and even actually Copper Mail getting research for maci. Interesting decision. Kinda slightly wondering if maybe getting the attack could have been a bit more reasonable, because he's gonna be in the heroic age in a moment, and therefore he's gonna be switching into Arky inevitably. So getting the better damage for the archers. Also the Murmills potentially would be also benefiting from that, but nonetheless, that's what he chose to do. Bragi already clicked in, and still will be taking about a minute, but it will be still quite a bit of a high danger if Marcos is gonna be able to keep up the pop limit. With second TC in the end for maci, being the absolutely turbo safe to the right. Can see still plenty food here, but unfortunately not protected in any kind of way, and the town center will be probably disrupted. In case Marcos is gonna be switching to the right though. So far he seems to be going only for the 8, not expecting the TC probably. No, but he's gonna be checking it out anyway. Okay, so that's a bit of a massive disappointment here for maci. Liking to be seen also that he's making it with the hero citizen, which is nice, because it's gonna be resulting into the 10% faster build rate. So if you're gonna be doing some riskier builds and whatever, you always should be sending the hero citizen, because he's simply going to be a bit better. No, and now it just kind of depends if you're gonna be right now collecting the armies into one spot, but so far it seems like quite an interesting temple as well with the piggies from behind then. If Marcos wants to be going for a big army fight, that seems like it rather not, with another hit, and just needs to be jumping already into the manor here. Both of them. That's a bit of a shame. Those two should have been absolutely saved. No, and with flame weapons right now coming forward, that's gonna be somewhat of a decentish fight at this point in the red base. As on the other side, that would have been a good fight for it still. He should have been fighting through that. Flame weapons are and wouldn't be making enough of a difference in there. As here currently, quite nice to be seeing the TC shooting at the Herseer instead of, for example, the INAR, which is maybe something that Marcos could have been trying to kind of like lure in. But nonetheless, not sure if maci maybe isn't controlling it himself. But army is gonna be home, which is somewhat nice. Okay, so you're gonna be about now taking the stand. Now with the TC currently exactly. Fortunately, firing into the INAR should be still continue with the Herseers. That's not gonna be too great and awesome. At least the town center is gonna be apparently saved. Yes, I think in one of the good news, unfortunately, another village hero destroyed on the left side. Yeah, and that's a hero one. That definitely hurt quite a bit. No, and seems like it's gonna be a GG already partner called by Mr. maci, as he's not liking his chances right now after this fight in the rest of the game. Really lost about 4 citizens here, is quite a bit significant, and just a question of time before Marcos would be able to utilize it well. No, well, could have been possibly invested into a bit more military upgrades, but nonetheless, I don't think he was like too stupid. He was popped, he was advancing next age. Just like... was maybe a bit too all over the place, and the villages were a bit bigger problem. Of course, the flame weapons army is gonna be always a problem. Maybe instead of the TC could have invested into towers here. Somewhere for a little bit of defense, some palace, possibly. That might have been a thing, but, well, whatever the case, let's therefore have a look into the post-game. We can straighten out the resources. Some 800, 13 to 1. That's gonna be 6-7, about like 600 resources more for maci, still, which is kinda nice. But as you can see against the Norse, it is not going to be proven to be enough. And he was still Marcos advancing even a bit later than normal. 4 trolls. Game trolling him pretty well, it seems like. But he was maybe even making some. Who knows? GG.